This is Quarina, and you're listening to Bold, Brown and British, a weekly podcast where we discuss what it means to be a brown person in a Western world. We've spoken about colorism, third culture identity, and dating, amongst many others on this podcast. So if this sounds like the type of content that you want to hear, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also message us on Instagram. The handle is @BoldBrownAndBritish, or drop us an email via our website at www.boldbrownbritish.com. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Bold Brown British podcast. I'm your host Quarina, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you with me today. If you've been with us before, welcome back. If you're new, you've just found a community where we embrace the beautifully complex realities of being brown in modern British society. So today we're going to dive headfirst into the world of neurodiversity, a topic that's as rich and layered as a perfectly made biryani. Specifically, we're focusing on the experiences of those who I lovingly refer to as being neurospicy within the Global South communities. We'll explore how these conditions are understood and misunderstood, discuss some of the unique challenges faced by our neurospicy friends, and share practical strategies for making conversations around neurodiversity as palatable as your favorite curry. So, grab your favorite mug of chai or coffee, find that comfy chair, and let's spice things up. Understanding neurospiciness, the basics with a twist. Before we dive into the deep end, let's set the stage by defining what we mean by neurodiversity. Imagine the human brain as a vibrant tapestry, woven with threads of different colors and patterns, each contributing with its own distinct hue to the overall design. Neurodiversity acknowledges that each of us might have a few threads that are slightly more, shall we say, spicy than others. Some threads might zigzag unexpectedly. Others may be brighter and more subdued, but each is integral to the full picture. It's like creating a quilt where each patch and every patch has a different pattern. Unique, but all those contributing to the beauty of the final piece. The term neurodiversity was coined by sociologist Judy Singer in the late 1990s. Think of it as a reminder that not all brains are meant to be vanilla. Some are spiced with a unique flair, adding diversity to the cognitive melting pot that makes humanity so fascinating. And it's not just a buzzword, it is a celebration of the multitude of ways the human minds operate. It's an invitation to appreciate the complexity and variety inherent in each person's mental processing. So what exactly is neurodiversity? Neurodiversity encompasses a range of neurological conditions that affect how individuals perceive and interact with the world around them. It includes conditions like ADHD, Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, Tourette syndrome, and many more. These conditions aren't disabilities in the traditional sense, rather they represent different cognitive styles. Imagine if everyone processed information the same way. Life would be as dull as a rainy day with no umbrella. The beauty of neurodiversity is that it allows for a full range of abilities and insights that are varied as a box of chocolates. You never know what surprising and delightful talents you might find. Let's explore some of these conditions to better understand what they entail. ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Often characterized by challenges with focus, hyperactivity, and impulsivity, ADHD can make everyday tasks feel like trying to herd a group of excited puppies. You might find yourself with a mind that races at the speed of a caffeine-fueled squirrel, constantly jumping from one idea to the next. But on the flip side, people with ADHD often exhibit exceptional creativity and the ability to hyper-focus on tasks that they're really passionate about. Think of it as having a superpower of imaginations, where limits are as vast as the universe itself. Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD. ASD involves a unique way of experiencing the world, often manifesting as distinct social communication styles and patterns of behavior. Picture someone who perceives the world like a highly skilled artist, noticing details and nuances that others might overlook. People with autism may excel in structured environments with predictable patterns, bringing a sense of order to the chaos of life. And they often possess incredible dedication to their interests and can develop specialized skills that rival a detective's attention to detail. Dyslexia. Dyslexia involves difficulties with reading and writing, but this challenge is coupled with remarkable strengths in visual and spatial thinking. Imagine reading a book where the letters are playing a never-ending game of hide and seek. Challenging, but not impossible to overcome with the right strategies. Dyslexic individuals often have a strong sense of creativity and problem-solving abilities that allow them to see things from angles that others might miss. Kind of like having a panoramic view of the world in full tunnel vision. Dyspraxia. Often described as a clumsy child syndrome, dyspraxia affects coordination and other motor skills. And while tying shoelaces might be akin to performing magic tricks, individuals with dyspraxia often develop strong problem-solving skills and resilience to navigating everyday challenges. Tourette syndrome. Characterized by involuntary tics and vocalizations, Tourette syndrome can feel like an unpredictable DJ controlling your physical and verbal reaction. Yet individuals with Tourette's often display a profound understanding to spontaneity and bring unexpected joy and humor to the mundane. Embracing neurodiversity. At its core, neurodiversity challenges the notion that there is one normal or right way to learn, think, and interact with the world. It posits that neurological differences should be recognized and respected as a natural way of human diversity. After all, who wants a world where everyone thinks the same way? It would be like a symphony where all the instruments are playing the same note, lacking the rich complexity that makes music and life so much more enchanting. In the grand theatre of life, each one of us plays a different role, and our diverse cognitive abilities bring depth and richness to our collective story. Neurodiversity invites us to reconsider how we define normal and encourages us to create inclusive environments where every individual, no matter how their brain is wired, can thrive and contribute their unique perspectives. Imagine if history had overlooked the neurodivergent minds that had shaped our world. From artists like Van Gogh to scientists like Albert Einstein, many individuals suspected of having neurodivergent traits have left their mark on humanity. Their unique ways of thinking challenge conventional norms and led to breakthroughs that continue to influence us today. Neurodiversity and society. As we embrace neurodiversity, we must also examine the social structures that support or hinder neurospicy individuals. Schools, workplaces, communities, they all play a crucial role in accommodating diverse cognitive styles. Imagine a classroom that celebrates different learning methods or a workplace that values diverse problem-solving approaches. These environments don't just accommodate neurodiversity, they thrive because of it. And consider this, just as biodiversity contributes to the resilience and adaptability of ecosystems, neurodiversity enriches our social fabric, driving innovation and empathy. When we learn to appreciate different cognitive styles, we unlock a treasure trove of creativity and insight that benefits us all. And it's like finding a hidden ingredient in a favorite dish that elevates its profile to a whole new light. Neurodiversity is not just about defining individuals by their differences. It's about acknowledging the unique contributions that each person brings to the table. It's about celebrating the kaleidoscope of human thought, where each twist and turn new dimension to the understanding of the world. So, let's put on our most adventurous hats, embrace the spice that neurodiversity adds to our lives. And after all, it is this that makes the tapestry of humans not just vibrant, but really extraordinary. Cultural perceptions of neurospiciness in the global south. Now let's journey into the heart of how neurodiversity is perceived in global south communities. It's a story of both tradition and transformation, where centuries-old beliefs meet the progressive perspectives of today. As with many of us with roots in South Asia, Africa, and Middle East, and other parts of the global South know, cultural perceptions can deeply influence how neurodiversity conditions are understood. So what are the cultural barriers and misunderstandings? Firstly, lack of awareness. In some communities, there's a curious mix of seeing neurodiversity as either a myth or a misunderstanding. It's like spotting a UFO. Some swear they've seen it, others doubt that they exist at all. This gap in awareness can lead to misconceptions that these conditions are simply behavioral quirks that will eventually fade away with a stiff cup of tea or some discipline. 2. Stigma and shame. In cultures where family reputation is paramount, having a neurospicy kid can be viewed through the lens of social status, as if it were a designer handbag that's gone out of fashion. Sadly, this can lead to families hiding those conditions or avoiding acknowledgement altogether. 3. Emphasis on academic success. There's an unwavering focus on academics, often encapsulated by the classic phrase, "Why not a doctor or lawyer?" This can pose unique challenges for neurospicy individuals who may thrive in non-traditional learning environments, struggle in conventional classroom settings. 4. Fear of judgment. Families might worry about the "log kya kahenge," what will people say? This fear can prevent them from seeking out diagnosis or the support that their children might need, effectively keeping the discussion under wraps like a tightly sealed jar of family secrets. These perceptions aren't simply hurdles, they're part of the complex social narrative that impacts how individuals can navigate their world. But where there are challenges, there's also opportunities for growth and understanding. Personal challenges faced by the neurospicy. Let's delve deeper into the unique challenges faced by neurospicy individuals, particularly within culturally conservative communities. It's like trying to play a board game without ever seeing the rulebook. Daunting, confusing, and sometimes downright frustrating. 1. Lack of validation. Often, neurospicy individuals hear phrases like, "You're just making excuses," or "It's all in your head," which ironically it is, but just not in the way those folks mean. It might lead to feelings of frustration and self-doubt. Pressure to conform. There's a constant pull to meet societal and familial expectations, like a relentless game of tug-of-war. Neurospicy individuals may feel the need to camouflage their true selves in order to fit in neatly to these predefined molds, akin to Cinderella's stepsisters trying to force their feet into the glass slipper. Communication barriers. Explaining neurodiversity to family members who may not understand it can feel like trying to speak in code. It's as you're a tech support agent and your grandma just discovered the internet for the first time. There's a learning curve and it requires patience on both sides. Isolation. Feeling misunderstood or different can lead to a sense of isolation. Without proper support, neurospicy individuals might feel like the one lone chili pepper in a field of tomatoes, unable to find others who truly understand their perspective. These challenges highlight the necessity of fostering environments that are more accepting and understanding of experiences. After all, everyone deserves to be seen and appreciated for who they are. Strategies for challenging perceptions and explaining neurospiciness experiences. If you or someone you know identifies as neurodivergent and wants to bridge the understanding gap between the family, here are some strategies that might do the trick. 1. Educate yourself first. Before you can educate others, it's vital to have a solid grasp of your own experiences and the scientific realities of your neurospicy condition. Think of it as getting your facts straight before presenting your case in court, or in this case, the family dinner table. 2. Use relatable analogies. Analogies are your best friends here. Explain your experiences using examples that might resonate culturally. For example, you can describe ADHD as having a mind that's like a Bollywood dance sequence, vibrant, sometimes a bit chaotic, but always full of energy. Provide educational materials. Share informative and accessible resources like articles, videos, or podcasts that explain neurospicy conditions in a way that's relatable and easy to digest. Think of it as giving your family a starter pack into the world of your brain. Engage in open conversations. This is where creating a safe space is crucial. Encourage your family to ask questions and be prepared to answer with patience. Remember, challenging perceptions is a marathon, not a sprint. Highlight strengths. Focus on the positives. Highlight the unique strengths and abilities that come with being neurospicy. For instance, ADHD might make someone more adaptable in dynamic environments, or autism can provide exceptional attention to detail, turning challenges into superpowers. Seek support from allies. Find family members or friends who are more open-minded and willing to learn. Sometimes an ally within the family or friend group can feel like a trusty sidekick in your quest to shift perceptions. They can help amplify your message and offer much-needed support. Use real-life examples. Share personal stories and experiences that illustrate your point. Describe specific situations where your neurospicy traits are either pose challenges or provide strengths. It's like storytelling, a powerful way to make abstract concepts relatable and real. And lastly, set boundaries. Know your limits and don't hesitate to set boundaries when discussions become too taxing. Remember, you're not a fountain of knowledge. Take breaks when needed to protect your mental health. After all, even superheroes need a breather every now and again. Through these strategies, neurospicy individuals can foster a sense of understanding and empathy within their families, paving the way for a more inclusive and supportive environment. Now, let's share some stories from the field, straight from individuals who have bravely navigated these challenges and turned the tables on misconceptions. These tales, for me, are like those heartfelt Bollywood dramas, filled with trials, triumphant, and the occasional dance number? Metaphorically speaking. The names of all these have been changed for obvious reasons. Meet Ravi, a bright British Indian young man who wrestled with ADHD throughout his school years. In a family where academic excellence was almost a family crest, Ravi's struggle with concentration and organization was met with skepticism. Yet, he armed himself with knowledge and humor, educating his family with relatable analogies and sharing resources that highlight ADHD as a different but equally valid way of thinking. Slowly but surely, his family began to see the brilliance in his creativity and outside-the-box problem-solving skills. Next, we have Aisha, a vibrant woman on the autism spectrum who grew up in a Pakistani household where autism was as mysterious as a Bermuda Triangle. Initially mistaken for a lack of discipline, Aisha's unique way of interacting with the world was bewildering to her family. By writing letters to explain her feelings, a medium where she felt more comfortable expressing herself, Aisha was able to open up lines of communication. Her efforts led to deep, empathetic conversations, and they really started shaping how her family perceived autism. Finally, there's Fatima, a talented artist with dyslexia from an African background. For years, her family equated her reading difficulties with laziness, not realizing her exceptional talents lay elsewhere. Fatima showed them documentaries on dyslexia and spotlighted her strengths in the visual arts, which opened their eyes to a new perspective. Her family's newfound support became a catalyst for her confidence, championing her creative pursuits and advocating for her needs in educational settings. These stories highlight the power of understanding and the remarkable change that can occur when families come together to listen and to learn. It's about creating a symphony where each note, no matter how different, contributes to the harmonious melody. As we near the end of our episode, I want to leave you with some call to actions, a gentle nudge, if you will, to take what you've heard today and become an agent of change. Whether you're neurospicy yourself, a family member, or simply someone who wants to make a difference, here's how you can contribute to a more inclusive and empathetic society. Promote empathy and open-mindedness. Encourage those around you to approach neurodiversity with curiosity and empathy. Remind them that every individual is a unique puzzle piece in the jigsaw of life, and understanding begins with the willingness to see from different perspectives. 2. Challenge misconceptions. Stand up against stereotypes and myths by engaging in informed discussions and challenging outdated beliefs. Think of yourself as the modern-day mythbuster, wielding facts like a seasoned warrior to combat misconceptions. 3. Support community initiatives. Get involved in local programs or support groups that promote neurodiversity awareness. Whether it's volunteering, attending workshops, or just lending a listening ear, your participation can make a really big difference. 4. Foster inclusivity in schools and workplaces. Advocate for neurospicy-friendly policies and accommodations in educational and professional environments. Push for settings where neurodivergent individuals can thrive without having to mask their unique abilities. 5. Be patient and persistent. Changing perceptions is a gradual process. Be patient and persistent in your advocacy, much like a gardener nurturing a seed until it blooms into a beautiful flower. Over time, your efforts can inspire lasting change. And lastly, educate others. Share what you've learned today with friends, family, your community. Host discussions, recommend books, spread awareness, because knowledge is the proverbial salt in the dish. Without it, things will be quite bland. Remember, embracing neurospiciness isn't just about tolerating differences. It's about celebrating them. It's about recognizing that every brain, no matter how uniquely wired, has the potential to contribute something really valuable to our world. Thank you so much for joining me in Bold Brown British. I hope this episode not only shed light on neurodiversity, but also inspired you to be part of the change. I'd love to hear from you. Have you faced a similar challenge? What strategies have worked for you? Feel free to reach out and share your stories on Instagram, because together we can learn and grow. Until next time, sending you all the love and spice.
Oh, Mikey, you made it till the end. I'm so happy. Well, listen, if you enjoyed what you heard and you want to hear more, subscribe to the podcast on, wherever you're listening to this. We are on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, TuneIn, Alexa, you name it, we're there. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on an episode. We also are on Instagram, which houses loads of behind-the-scenes audio snippets, polls, memes, and ways for you to get involved. So go follow us on Bold, Brown and British. That's the handle. And until next time, keep safe, my wonderful samosas.